Page 72. Summing up. The elements we have analyzed above are considered the markers of the Indo-European or the Aryan culture, but their use shows temporal and spatial differences. The domestic horse appears in the region of the Black Sea and the Volga in the 6th millennium BC. The wheels and cheek pieces dating to the 4th millennium BC are found in the Black Sea, Caspian Sea area, though the spokes appear around 1600 BC in the Andronovo culture in the Volga area. Animal sacrifice is as old as the 5th millennium BC, but horse sacrifice does not date earlier than the 2nd millennium BC and is confined to India. Male dominance appears in northern Europe and the Caucasus area in the 4th millennium BC. Clear evidence of cremation practiced by the horse users is not found earlier than the 1500 BC, although the practice itself was as old as the 5th millennium BC in Kazakhstan. The cults of Soma and fire also appear among the horse users around 1500 BC, but the earliest inscriptional use of the Proto-Indo-Aryan language is found in Western Asia around 2300 to 2100 BC.
Therefore, our reconstruction of the picture of the quote, Aryan unquote, culture cannot be much earlier than circa 2000 BC.
Para. Some cultural traits are common to the speakers of both the branches of the Indo-European language. Page 73. Both groups use the horse to draw chariots, to ride, and for other purposes. Cremation also seems to have been practiced by both branches of the Indo-Europeans, and curiously enough, even some members of the Western branch performed the horse sacrifice. Male dominance is shared by both branches. Although the forced killing of a woman to be buried with her husband first appeared in Poland and the Baltic states in the 4th millennium BC, it became typical of the Scythians, capital Scythians, Scythians, and was later confined to India. However, the cults of fire and Soma, together with the sacrifice of animals, distinguished the Indians and Iranians, while cremation and horse sacrifice were more typical of the Indians. Para. Several of these elements appear to have been borrowed from non-Indo-Europeans. The term Arya itself seems to have been adopted in the eastern branch of the Indo-European language, and suitable grammatical rules framed to accommodate it in various forms. Again, cremation probably came from Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and the cults of fire and Soma seem to have been taken from some Central Asian peoples. The spoked wheel may have been donated by Mesopotamia. However, all these elements were finally unified through the dominance of the horse-based chiefs and the force of communication generated by a single language or its closely connected dialects. Page 74. The priests may have used the Indo-European language to help coalesce the rituals taken from different sources. The language may have facilitated intertribal communication and promoted technological exchange. Gradually, the group of horse users developed a synthesis of original and borrowed elements and formed an almost autonomous culture in Central Asia
by circa 2000 BC.
Para. Evidence for the existence of the Aryan culture is gathered primarily from the Rig Veda and Avesta. The social and religious practices found in both texts are taken to reflect the common Culture of the Aryans in the Andronovo context. West Asian inscriptions of 2300 BC to 600 BC confirm and supplement the data we have examined above on the horse and on socio-religious practices. Archaeology largely corroborates evidence suggested by the linguistic data of the second millennium BC. Although it is difficult to determine the route taken by successive bands of horse users, it appears that the Indo-European culture assumed an Eastern flavor
in Central Asia by circa 2500 BC
and underwent further alterations in Iran, Afghanistan, and the Indian subcontinent in the succeeding centuries.